So today I'm in London and I'm just going to be going through some of the common threats that you may experience if you're passing through here on vacation or if you're commuting in this city. One of the biggest threats, especially when I'm working close protection in London, is the gang members who are doing armed robberies, and they're usually by way of moped, e-scooter or bike or motorbike, just like that one. Quite often there'll be twos up on the bike and they'll drive past in the recon phase and they'll be openly looking for targets and victims. They see something they like, valuables on display, a nice watch, a handbag, anything worth a bit of money. They'll zip back round, usually behind you. Sometimes they can be proper necky and just do it right in front of you, and even ride onto the pavement and just swipe it and keep going. Or they'll get off and they'll be armed with knives or even firearms sometimes, and they'll be willing to use violence to get the goods from you. Anytime you're on the London Underground or any other subway system in the world, you really have to switch on and be aware of areas where you have to get tied in with other people, because this is where it's a pickpockets like hunting ground. Anywhere where you're naturally going to expect to get bumped, that's when they can quickly pull a manoeuvre and slip something out of your pocket or your bag. So just be aware in these areas and switch on a bit more. The best way to counter it is to not have headphones in and to be aware of your surroundings with your head up, not be staring down at your phone, and obviously don't have your valuables on display or on show. When choosing a place to stand on a platform, it's always a good idea to stand in between two exits. So if a lot of trouble comes in on that side, you can always just leave that way, or vice versa. Always stand with your back up against the wall as well, so all the foot traffic goes in front of you. You can easily see both ways. If you're ever on a platform and you don't like the look of someone else on that platform, you can always wait until the doors have opened and judge that person's behaviour. If they get on that train, you don't want to be near them, and stay on the platform, wait for the next one. If they are waiting on the platform also, wait until the last minute and then quickly jump onto the train just before the doors close. If they follow you, you might be in a bit of trouble, but at least you know. And if they don't follow you, then you've made your escape. If you're ever waiting for an elevator, there's no reason why you should just stand with your back to everything. Just press the button and stand openly. Like, now you can see everything that's going on. No one can creep up on you or get the element of surprise on you. Travelling by boat in London and any other big city with a river going through it is a great way to see the sights. But you just have to think, when you step onto that boat, you're getting on there with a group of people who you don't know, and you're locked in that place for a certain amount of time. So there's a few things we need to take note of before boarding the boat. When you sit on any sort of public transport, you just have to remember that you're literally locked in a kind of cage with a group of people that you don't know. So it's good to profile people before you actually step on board, whether that be a bus, a train or a boat. And this is probably the worst one, because there's no getting off until you get to that next dock station. So if an incident was to happen, you obviously can't just escape of here. So you need to locate your exits straight away, just like on an aircraft. And if there's any life jackets on board, look to see where they are. If there was a knife attack or something in a terrorism sort of nature on board here, I'd actually look to get inside a toilet, disabled toilet or anything with a locked door, and do a hard lock-in location and just wait out the storm in there, especially if you have small children or family members. So we're just approaching Westminster Bridge, the scene of the 2017 attack, where it was another vehicle ramming attack, one terrorist. ploughed through a load of pedestrians and then got out and started stabbing indiscriminately and tried to run into our Houses of Parliament over there. So 5 people died in this attack and 48 were injured. So it was on this bridge here where the attacker verged onto the pavement and started ploughing through pedestrians, and it's just like tourists here, unaware, taking photographs on their vacation, and sadly a lot of people were really badly injured and killed, and some were even thrown into the River Thames below and were picked up by police and also the normal transport boats. So it was down here that the attacker vehicle finally came to a halt. Then he disembarked, and the usual drill with knives strapped to both hands, he ran inside the Houses of Parliament where he met a police officer and they had a confrontation. Unfortunately, that police officer lost his life fighting the attacker and not allowing him to enter any further into the grounds. It was then that another police officer, armed, shot dead the attacker. 48 people were injured during this attack, and it was mainly because of the vehicle ramming tactics that we've seen used time and time again. Nowadays we have the barriers, which is a great counter, but they're just going to move to different areas, and it's such an easy tactic to use that the only real counter on a personal level is situational awareness and having a plan, making a fast decision to get you and your family out of harm's way. So on my left here you can see the bollards, the posts. They are designed to stop a vehicle, and they've only been put in recent years because of the attacks, but there's many bridges in London that they're not in place. So anytime, if you do have the choice to walk on a side with bollards, then always choose to, because you can't always be 100% of what's aware of what's going on around you 100% of the time. It's just not doable. Although the major threats around here are terrorism, I always like to talk about, there's a lot of minor threats. Like this is pickpocketing central around here, and there's a lot of schemes and even musicians that draw a crowd in, and to the untrained eye, you think there's something cool going on, you end up joining that crowd to look and see what's happening, and there's actually a team around you, surrounding you, all in on it, and they're going to be bumping you and pickpocketing who they can. Once you are practicing situational awareness and you're starting to ID those sort of characters, it's easy to spot, because they are, like we always say, it's only the good guys and the bad guys who are practicing situational awareness. So they're aware of their surroundings, they're looking out for police, and when the police do come, they'll pack up and leave pretty swiftly, and you'll see them clearing the area. So when you're walking down the street like this, it's very easy to just stare at the ground in front of you. That's what everyone does. But just try to remind yourself to look up and clear the route ahead, because you never know when you're going to walk straight into a situation that you could have easily avoided, like a group of youths mucking about, or a drunk guy or a homeless guy having a bit of an outburst with mental illness issues. It's all over the place these days, and the easiest way to get away from it is to detect it early and just cross the street or turn back, or just avoid the situation altogether. Anytime that you're crossing a street and you look behind yourself for traffic, always check out the pavement or the sidewalk and see if anyone's following you up. This is especially important at night time. If you're walking home alone and you're worried that there's a lone person behind you, you don't like the look of, maybe they're of a threat profile. If you do that a couple of times, you can get a clear look at them, and it's a natural behaviour. And if you are worried, then you can start thinking about things to implement to get away from them.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. We appreciate your support, and until next time, watch your own six.